never gonna catch anything from this dock. Gotta get out to that deeper water. Now, I don't own a boat, but I do have some plywood and a Craftsman Weedwacker in the garage. Hey, I'm Rob North, and today, I'm gonna build a boat. All right, the first step to becoming the skipper of your very own vessel is to build the bottom, sides, bow, and stern of the boat. And to do that, we're gonna need some tools and materials. Let's start by rounding up the plywood we're going to need to make the bottom. Like every Craftsman project, the size of your boat can be customized to fit your needs. Our boat's going to be longer than most cuts of plywood, so I'm going to have to join two separate sections together. The shorter back piece will be basic 3/4 inch plywood, and the front piece will be a combination of 1/2 inch birch ply and 1/4 inch luan ply. Just glue the birch and luan together using wood glue. This combo is going to come in handy later as we shape the boat. Now we have to taper the sides of the front end to give it the shape of a boat. For this boat, I'll measure and mark 3 inches in from the edge along the width and 36 inches along the length. Then connect the two marks with a straight edge, creating a long triangle. Repeat on the other side. Cut away the triangles using a jigsaw or a circular saw. Push the two sections together. Using a compass, draw a 3/4 inch template line around the entire edge of the boat floor. This line will be a guide to where the sides, front, and back pieces will sit when attached. Now let's give this boat some ribbing. Take some poplar stock and cut it to 1.5 inch wide strips using the table saw. Cut enough pieces to run along the line we drew around the entire floor of the boat. Line up the pieces along the drawn line. We're going to have to make a slight angle cut in the ribbing where the bottom of the boat begins to taper. We'll do that with the miter saw. Temporarily screw each piece into the bottom. Trace a line along the interior edge of all the ribbing. Now that the ribbing is set, we need to cut a piece to mend the seam between the front and back sections. Just like with the ribbing, temporarily screw the piece evenly over the seam. Then trace the front and back edges of the piece onto the boat floor. Now, let's go back and take off our ribbing and add some glue. As you can see, we've got two drawn lines that form what I'm going to call a glue alley. I'm going to fill that with polyurethane glue. The key to activating this glue is water. Using a rag, wet between the drawn lines on the boat floor and wet the bottom of the ribbing. Take the polyurethane glue and liberally apply within the glue alley in a zigzag pattern. Now replace the ribbing and screw back into the bottom every 6 to 8 inches. Do the same process to the piece that connects the front and back sections. The glue is set. Now it's time we give the front that curved shape that's going to help it cut through the water. Take a 2x6 and place it under the front of the boat floor. Clamp the bottom of the boat to the workbench using a 2x4 just past the taper. This will force the front to curve. Our glue combo of birch and luan we built in the first steps bends more easily than the basic 3/4 inch ply, creating the curve. So now I want to lay out where we're going to add a plexiglass window. That's right, you heard me. Window. I want to be able to see if I'm sitting on any monster catches. Place the plexi at a point in your floor that is between the clamped 2x4 and the piece of ribbing that joins the front and back pieces. Make sure it sits completely flat to the floor. Once you've found a sweet spot, trace a line around the entire piece of plexi. Remove the piece and draw another square that is 3 inches smaller than the inside traced square. This creates another glue alley. Within this glue alley, screw the boat floor into the work table and remove the clamp 2x4. Now it's time to make the sides of our boat. Like the bottom, our boat is longer than the average sheet of plywood, so our sides will have to have 2 sections. I'll use the table saw to cut sections that match the length of my boat floor. The forward side pieces need to be cut with the same curve that we created on the boat floor. To do this, set the forward side piece next to the boat. Then trace the shape of the boat onto the inside of the side piece. Use a jigsaw to cut along the line. Now your side will match up to the curve of the bottom. Attach the sides with water and glue. Starting at the bow of the boat and working back, screw the side into the ribbon. You're going to need to use a clamp to make sure the side stays in place while you work. Repeat the same process to attach the other side pieces. Now cut and attach the prow. Make sure the sides are square to the bottom. If not, correct it with clamps. This needs to be 4 inches taller than your sides to account for the front of the boat dipping into the water while moving. Wet glue and screw. We've covered a lot of ground. There's still more to come on craftsmanclub.com. Stay tuned for episode 2.